Hello, how you doing? Thought it was about time I came back and did one of these vlog videos. Really, what the main reason I'm doing this is I've got a few pickups to show. Not too many, but a few physical games that I've got in the last couple of months or so. But I've also got like a little announcement to make. Not that anyone probably notices or even cares about this, but I thought I'd announce it anyway, just in case. For about the last year or so, probably longer, I've been following a kind of a steady pattern with my uploads. I've been doing a PS1 game, a PS2 game, a PS3 game, a PS4 game, and then looping it back round to PS1. I might, every now and again slice in a PSP game or something like that, but that's the pattern that I've been following. Now that's all well and good, and I like doing that because it kind of appeals to my OCD senses, having everything in a nice kind of pattern. But also, I think it shows a nice progression through the system. You see a PS1 game, and then you see it brought up to PS2, up to PS3, up to PS4, and so on. But the main problem with that is that it can be quite restrictive. There's been times where, for instance, I've been getting up to the end of like a PS3 upload series, and I think, well, hang on, I need to record a PS1 game because by the time I've finished the PS4 game, I want to have a PS1 game to upload. And sometimes you might not be in the mood to play, a particular PS1 game. There might be another game on another system that you'd rather play instead. So you kind of feel obliged to play a game that you wouldn't necessarily be playing, just so you can sort of follow the upload pattern. In addition to that, at the moment, I'm sitting on quite a few really big, long playthroughs. I've got a 120-hour Horizon Zero Dawn playthrough, hard difficulty, platinum. I've got a 150-hour Assassin's Creed Unity playthrough. That's not a platinum, but it's 100% sync. The reason it's not platinum because there's some online trophies which I don't tend to go for, but it's got all the offline trophies. And yeah, Assassin's Creed Unity is an absolutely huge game. 150 hours sounds ridiculous, but trust me, that's a big game with a hell of a lot of content in it. I've also got a Assassin's Creed Syndicate playthrough, platinum, 100% sync. That's probably around about 100 hours, something like that. I've also got some quite long playthroughs on VHS as well, which are going to take me quite a long time to kind of rip and edit and everything. I've got a 100% San Andreas playthrough, which is probably over 60 hours, which I know isn't as long as the others I've just mentioned, but that's going to take me a while to do because it's on VHS, and that takes longer to capture because you've got to do it all in real time. And the really big one that I've got, which I actually want to start doing soon, is this Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I played through this during the summer, and it took about 200 hours to do everything in the game. It was on hard difficulties, platinum run, every single quest, well, most quests anyway, because there's some quests in this that you can't actually do because like the paths in the story branch out, so you either get to do one quest or another. You can't do both. But yeah, this was a really good game actually. It's kind of like a cross between Oblivion. It steals loads of ideas from Oblivion, but it's got a kind of like a God of War kind of combat system, or old school God of War combat system in it. Really had fun with this. It's I went through as a kind of archer mage type character. It's probably one of the most powerful characters ever built in an RPG. But yes, 200 hours. Now the problem with that is that I've done big series in the past. I did Sleeping Dogs full 100% run. That took about 2 months to upload, and that's only about kind of 60 to 80 hours. I recently did Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and that's about 60 hours, and that took about 2 months. Full 100% run took about 2 months to upload. So you can imagine how long it's going to take me to do a 200-hour playthrough. So my solution is I'm going to still kind of do the PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 pattern, but I'm going to kind of punctuate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start uploading a longer playthrough, like Kingdoms of Amalur will probably be the first one that I do. And I may upload that for, I don't know, like a couple of weeks. And then once I've got say a PS1 game recorded, I'll pause the Amalur playthrough and upload the entire PS1 game. Then I'll get back to Amalur again. Now that will solve both of those problems. It will solve the problem of me having these huge playthroughs that, you know, Kingdoms of Amalur could take me about 6 months, a conservative estimate, to upload the whole thing. And that's all anyone's ever going to see for 6 months. And it'll also solve the problem of me feeling obliged to play certain games in, you know, like, oh, I need to play a PS2 game now because I don't have a PS2 game ready to upload to keep my pattern going. So it would just ease up the pressure of doing that a little bit. You know, I can sort of, you know, I can think, well, actually, I can just carry on with Amalur, I can carry on with Horizon Zero Dawn while I'm, you know, give me a little bit more time to record a PS1 game or a PS2 game or whatever it is that's next in the sequence. So even though it's not going to quite be as OCD as I'd like it, because I still really like looking through my uploads and seeing them in that sort of pattern serially. But I think it will probably be better in the long run, and also it'll probably provide a little bit more variation on the channel, because, you know, you won't be seeing the same game, especially for the long playthroughs, you know, weeks on end. So, like I said, not that anyone really notices or even cares about that sort of thing, but I thought I'd announce it just in case anyone does. Oh, and I've got another small announcement as well. I started another channel. This channel's always going to be PlayStation, 100% PlayStation, but I do play games on other systems. So I started another channel for those playthroughs. It's a little bit quiet over there at the moment, even quieter than this channel, but I've got it anyway. If you look at my my homepage, it's in the channel section. It's called PlayStation Port Extras, and I've got what have I got on there at the moment? I can run through it. I've got Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade playthrough, an old DOS adventure game. We've got Resident Evil 0 on the Wii blind playthrough, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, a difficult run, Jedi Consular build, no lightsaber, Planescape Torment, that's blind on combat difficulty 4, which is the second highest combat difficulty in the game. Gears of War 2, blind run on hardcore mode, which is the hardest difficulty that you can play blind. I mean, there is a harder difficulty that you can unlock, insane difficulty, but you'd have to beat the game before playing that, so you can't do a blind run of that. I've got some rare games, some old sort of retro rare games on there. I've got Battletoads on the Game Boy, Beetlejuice on the Game Boy, Wizard and Warriors 3, RC Pro-Am 2, Battletoads and Battlemaniacs, Battletoads Double Dragon. I've been quite busy on that channel. I've got Jade Empire, which is a BioWare RPG. That's blind on Grandmaster difficulty, which again is the hardest difficulty that you can play on in a blind run. There is a harder difficulty that you can unlock once you beat the game, though. But you know, recording blind, that's the only the highest difficulty that you can do. And at the moment I'm in the middle of Blakestone Aliens of Gold, which is a really fun old kind of Wolfenstein clone, first person shooter. But that's that. I just thought I'd mention that, just in case anyone's interested. I've actually been doing the channel for about a year, but yeah, just never bothered to tell anyone about it really. So with that, might as well move on to some pickups. Now I've got 8 physical games here. 2 of them I haven't opened, still in the envelope. So I'll probably do those first. I've got 6 PS4 games, an Xbox 360 game and a PS3 game. So this is either going to be one of the PS3 games or Xbox 360 games. I'm not sure, but we'll find out in a sec. It's Xbox 360 game. It's Crackdown. Never played this. If you know a little bit about my gaming background, you know that I never really had an Xbox 360 when they were when it was a current system, and a lot of the Xbox 360 games I play on the Xbox One with backwards compatibility. I've been discovering a lot of pretty good titles actually that I missed during that period. I really like Gears of War 2. I thought that was great. And this is up my street. It's an open world kind of exploration game, superhero focus. So I don't know, it might be a little bit like Prototype, which I liked, something like that, I don't know, but it's pretty cheap and it's on the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility list, so I got that. So I know what this next one's going to be, but I'll open that anyway. Well, I think I know what it's going to be anyway, unless there's something else I ordered which I've forgotten about. It's this Risen 2. Now this is an RPG series that is actually started out on the PC. I think this is a spiritual successor to a series called Gothic, which I'm actually interested in playing, but it won't run, I don't think, on Windows 10. I'm running Windows 10 at the moment, and on GOG and on Steam it doesn't list Windows 10 as a supported operating system, so I don't really want to risk sort of getting that and not being able to run it. But the same developers went on to do this Risen series. Now, Risen 1 only came out on PC, and I have actually got that, and I've actually played it for about half an hour, and it's not bad, it's pretty good from what I've played. But I really wanted to play the other two on console because I just prefer the Risen on PC doesn't have very good controller support. You can map the controller to the keyboard, but I never sort of am entirely satisfied with that method of control, because I like the smooth kind of analog sort of portamento movement rather than, you know, just mapping an analog stick to a keyboard, so you either stop or you go and there's no kind of in between. Even though you could argue the PC version would maybe run at a higher frame rate or whatever, I don't care, I prefer decent controls over that. So I got Risen 2 on the PS3, and Risen 3 was a PS Plus game a few months back, so I've got all three of them now. So yeah, I'll be getting into those at some point for sure. And talking of the Risen series, I had a birthday recently, got a few presents from a family, and one of the games that my mum got me was this, Elex, or Alex, not quite sure how it's pronounced. But again, this is by the same people that did Gothic and Risen, the two games that I've just been talking about, and it's part of that, part of their sort of canon. And it got kind of mixed reviews, but all the reviews that I read indicated that it's probably going to be the sort of game that I enjoy. It's like open world, sci-fi, RPG, quite challenging apparently, which I'm definitely up for. So yeah, I thought I'd get this and try it out. And the other game that I got from my mum was this. Might be a good one for Halloween. Little Nightmares Deluxe Edition. I don't know too much about this, but I've heard that it's meant to be very good. Kind of, I'm not sure if it's going to be a scary game, but I think it might be more in the kind of sort of macabre, kind of eerie kind of camp, quite puzzly. I'm into this sort of thing, so yeah, looking forward to giving that a go at some point, maybe over Halloween, who knows. And I got a couple of games for my brother and his family as well, so cheers for these. If you're watching, Dave and family. These are connected in that they're both two games in one. So that might give you a clue about what they might be, but I'll show them now anyway. Got Shenmue. I don't know why I keep calling it Shenmue. It's got this really bad habit of calling it Shenmue. Shenmue 1 and 2 on the PS4, the re-release. Now, I've always wanted to play these. Never had a Dreamcast, never had an Xbox, so there wasn't really any way for me to play them. But I do remember years ago when this sort of first came out, I visited my brother. He was living in Bristol, and he had that hooked up. And at the time I was playing a lot of PC games. I was sort of starting to get into PlayStation more and more. And I remember seeing that and thinking, that looks absolutely amazing. I really, really want to play it. And I even said to my brother, I might get a Dreamcast. And he kind of dissuaded me a little bit from getting a Dreamcast. He said, you know that Dreamcast is kind of dead now. They're not making them anymore. They're probably not going to publish any more games for it. And my budget at the time didn't really allow for me to, you know, invest in a console that was essentially dead. So Shenmue kind of completely passed me by, but I've always wanted to play it, and I've always wanted them to re-release it. They released almost every single Dreamcast game that I wanted to play on the PS3 and the PS2, but they never released this. So I'm really pleased that they did. I've heard that a lot of people don't like this, they think that this has not aged very well, but I still think I'm going to enjoy it because I play a lot of retro games anyway. I play a lot of old games, so a lot of the things that people are complaining about I'm probably used to anyway with a lot of the games that I play. I quite like adventure games. I'm quite happy to play games that are a little bit slower paced, atmospheric, that you can immerse yourself in. I'm not a huge fan of quick time events though, and I know that this kind of popularised quick time events. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like that side of it, but I think I'm going to like other aspects of it. We'll see. But I'm probably going to get around to this quite soon actually. And the other game that he got me, that was 2 games in one, is this. Inside Limbo Double Pack. Now, I've already played Limbo. I own Limbo on the PS3 and the PS4, funnily enough, because it was a PS Plus game, so I got that for free. I thought Limbo was great. Really, you know, good sort of dark puzzle, 2D, sort of cinematic platformer type game. And I heard really good things about Inside. Apparently it's quite dark, it's got an interesting story. It's been out a while, but I just noticed that they'd released it on this sort of physical pack, so it's nice to have a physical version of Limbo because that's one of my kind of favourite games in that style, and it's nice to be able to finally get around to playing Inside. Really looking forward to that. These next 2 games are games that I bought to play in the summer. The last sort of major vlog I did, that not including my Christmas one, I mentioned that every summer I tend to sort of splurge on a few games, and you know, I end up buying more games usually than I have time to play. So I've been limited in that for the last couple of years and only buying you know, maybe 2 or 3 games, and that's exactly what I did this year. And I only got around to playing one of them, normally because a lot of the games that I play are like epics that take hours to complete. So the one that I played was this, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I've been playing the games for years. I've played every single one of them up to this, and I've 100%ed most of them, platinumed quite a few of them. And all those years I've always wanted there to be a game in the series set in London, because I live in London, I work in London, and I just thought it would be amazing to have some of these landmarks in an Assassin's Creed game that I'm familiar with. So I really, really enjoyed this. I platinumed it and 100% synced it, and probably a lot of bias in there because it was almost like a religious experience for me in a way, sort of finally being able to sort of climb these landmarks that I know from my day-to-day life, you know, that I have sort of real-life memories of, like St Pancras Station and St Paul's Cathedral and Trafalgar Square and places like that. Finally getting to scale them in an Assassin's Creed game was great. And the other one I got, which I really, really want to play, and just never got round to, probably because I started Kingdoms of Amalur, and that's like a 200-hour game, which kind of sucked up all my time. But the other one I got was this, God of War. I've been looking forward to this for ages. God of War is actually one of my favourite game series, actually. I played all of them up to this one, except for there's one that came out on like a mobile, which I never played. But all the others I've played, the PSP ones and all the main series. I didn't actually really start to properly get into it until God of War 2. I played God of War 1 and I thought God of War 1 was good, but God of War 2 just completely blew me away. And I've been a huge fan of the series ever since then. I know this is meant to be a fantastic game, but I've just got to wait for the right time. Maybe I'll play this at Christmas because it seems like it's going to be sort of set in a sort of cold Norse climate, so that might suit the winter time. We'll see. And the other game I got, which for the summer, which I never played, which I can't show you, is because it's a digital copy, is Batman Arkham Knight, because I'm a huge fan of the Batman Arkham series, and I hadn't played Batman Arkham Knight. I've played all the others up till then. And they was doing a pretty good deal on PSN where you got like the DLC season pass stuff and that for dirt cheap, and it was a hell of a lot cheaper than it would have been for me to buy the physical copy. So even though I like physical, I thought, well, for that cheap, I'll go with the digital. It's fine, it's no problem, because once I've beat a game, it normally just sits on my shelf gathering dust anyway. So it's not a huge loss for me to have one less game on my shelf. And that's pretty much it, really. Just a short and sweet update. I tried not to sort of blather on as long as I usually do, but still did a little bit. But it was really just to sort of give anyone who's interested the heads up of the new kind of staggered format of uploads that I'm going to be starting probably after after Halloween's gone and I've uploaded all the horror games I've got planned for then. So not sure when I'll do another one of these, but I will do eventually. And so until then, take care.